Might have gotten away with it, too. If it wasn't for these blasted kids and their dogs.
Hey, we're running a podcast. Shut up! Good morning to you wherever you are. It is morning somewhere! For
June 24th, 2024.
My name is Finn Burns. I love my mom so much. Standing right over there, there's my mom, which I love very much. Burgle, burgle, burgle.
Yay!
And a happy Monday to you as well.
Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. I have a deep voice today because I was, two things. First was I was rooting for Scotland against Hungary. Scotland was eliminated from the Euros 2024. They lost 1-0 to Hungary.
That's rough.
Yeah, scored one goal the entire time we were there. So, and then Germany scored as many goals for us as we scored for ourselves, basically. So.
Well, here's the good news: is Scotland fans are very beloved in Germany at the moment.
Are they?
Well, as far as Scotland is concerned, everyone in Scotland is just posting positive articles and everything about how well Scotland fans are being received in Germany. There was a photo or video of two Scottish fans. Like in their kilts and everything,
I saw that.
With holding an umbrella over a little old lady, and everyone's like, oh, look at them. Look at those good boys.
What I loved about that was that while they were doing that, they didn't stop drinking the whole time. They were passing a beer back and forth. They I guess only one person brought their beer to the rescue operation, so they just kept passing it to each other.
As is tradition.
Well, all I got to say is clearly the fans are doing our part. How about a couple more W's from the team there? How about that would hurt. Maybe that's too American of me. Well, remaining in the Euros are a bunch of countries that really don't fucking matter. So good luck.
Yeah. Good luck to you, teams.
Since we're talking about sports really quickly, tonight, I have to be careful about this because on my schedule here it says tomorrow at 1 a.m., but it's actually tonight if you're in the NHL territory.
Oh, you tricky time zones.
Yeah. So NHL finals are tonight. The Edmonton Oilers have fought their way back to a 3-3 tie in the series now. So tonight, someone is going to win the Stanley Cup.
Oh, so yes. So you mentioned last week that at the time it could have been decided as early as that night. Clearly that was not the case. So quite the comeback.
Yes, and I'm very happy for them. And at the same time, having had a number of teams that I've rooted for in the playoffs and watching them blow incredible leads, I do see the flip side of that coin for the Florida Panther fans.
Sure. So it is both exciting and frustrating. So congratulations, or I'm sorry that happened to you.
Depending on where you live. But the other reason why my voice is kind of rough today is something happened. I got sick on Saturday. There's a lot of young people around, and they're all
they make me sick.
They're all diseased. And we were at the Falconry Center. We were visiting with some falcons, where they were like rest on your arm, and you say go, and they fly away. It's awesome.
You say be free.
But I was like, my throat feels a little funny, and then I got instantly sick. I think within an hour. It was the fastest anything has come on that I've had in a long time.
It really hit you like a freight train. You came home, you said you needed to lay down for a bit, and then that was sort of it. That's the last we saw of you for 30 hours.
Yeah. So we might have to cut the podcast short today. I hope everyone will be okay with that. I do want to say that we were going to do a Q&A this weekend for the Patreon, and Ashley, unbeknownst to me, went out and talked to the patrons and said, look, Bernie's not feeling well today, so I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to do something different for you all this weekend. And everyone was really cool about it, which I really appreciate. I've at times in my life, I've definitely been at jobs or, working shift work, and you can't get your shift covered because for some reason that's your responsibility. And they're like, no, you have to come in. And it's just a short-term way of thinking about things where you have someone come in who's sick and everyone else gets sick. But I've been in jobs before where it's like, yeah, I got to go to work. I got to get this thing done, or I got to pay my bills. So thank you very much. I appreciate everyone who said, yeah, just get better, Bernie.
Look, we're all a team here, okay?
We're all a team. We're all a team. But while I was laying in bed, I did I think I slept 18 out of 24 hours.
It was a lot. You were out hard. But
I was catching up on culture stuff. And there's two big things going around right now on the internet. Ashley, do you know what the Hawk Tua girl is?
What?
You don't know?
No.
Oh, really? Okay. So there's this girl who did an interview, lady who did an interview. She's on the street outside of a nightclub. So it's like a 6th Street, it seems like, from Austin. And it's that thing where a guy puts a camera and a microphone in front of women's face and asks them questions. You can imagine.
Like you're just getting ambushed with man on the street stuff. Got it.
It's exactly it. That's exactly it. So here, I'll see if I can find it here. I'll look it up here. So this is the Hawk Tour girl. So she's gone viral for this answer. He's asking like, what's the thing you can do for men in bed, right?
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing.
So she's really funny. You know, she had this one moment. Like, that's it. That's the entire clip. And it has gone apeshit. Like, I was just looking it up right there. When I looked up Hawk Tua, there was like 60 accounts dedicated to this girl on Instagram, this lady on Instagram. And it's just like, it's one of those moments where it was 5 seconds and now it's become her whole identity. And it's one of those situations like, do you have any control over that when that happens? What can you do?
Well, the answer is really no, you don't. I mean, it's like when you become a meme, first of all, no one has control over that. It's like Bad Luck Brian didn't get to decide he was going to be Bad Luck Brian, right? It was just something about it resonated with the greater social consciousness, and it became part of the language that we speak on the internet. And you really, if you get caught up in that, you really have no say in whether or not you become part of the language, right? You can decide to embrace it. And I think a lot of the early meme guys did. The
Oompa Loompa girl.
That's a great example.
Yeah, she's leaned into it. She's like, look, this is like 5 minutes of fame. We talked about the David after the dentist dad. What's the earliest one you remember happening like that?
Oh, let's see. Bonsai Kittens, maybe.
You think the kittens were? I always think of Lightsaber Kid, Star Wars Kid.
Right. Yeah, no, that was a good one. And he was an interesting example because, so Star Wars Kid was like 2002, 2003, right? And it was this adolescent kid. He used like a school camcorder and recorded this VHS clip of him flinging around it looked like a mop or something.
2002.
Yep. Okay. And he recorded it at his in the school studio or something, and then he left the tape somewhere.
Right. This was back before anybody had camera phones.
Right. Another student found it, and they started passing this clip around the school, and then eventually someone uploaded it to the internet. Now this is years before YouTube. Do you know how he went viral? Peer-to-peer sharing.
Yeah, but everybody knew about this.
Everyone knew about
Probably
Star Wars.
E-Bombs World at the time. Break.com.
Yeah.
Like the things like that. Yeah.
Fark maybe. But he went viral, and he's an interesting example because he's one of the first ones I can think of that leaned away from it. He
said, I don't want this.
He wanted nothing to do with it. There were, he said, many years later that he'd got all these invitations to late night shows and talk shows and all that kind of thing, but he refused to go on any of them because he didn't want to be like a circus act. He didn't want to be like that moment of entertainment for people to laugh at or point at or whatever it was. But he was one of the first ones I can think of who did that, who said, I don't want anything to do with this.
Well, I always think too, it's like when this is the Hawk Tour girl doesn't necessarily fall in this category, but the Lightsaber Kid does. Is it Star Wars Kid or Lightsaber Kid?
Star Wars Kid.
Like, what is the mentality of uploading? Like when you have this moment and you think, here's something that's clearly embarrassing or something. I'm just going to upload this for everyone to see. What is that moment of that thought process? It was actually a moment they had in the series Gen V, where the girl who shrinks had a viral video made of her by someone she trusted. And I thought that the conversation they had about that was very genuine. When she confronted her, she was completely gaslit. And she's like, why are you being so aggressive about this?
Why are you being weird about this? It has a ton of likes.
Yeah, exactly.
I think a lot of it's that it is like you see something and you just go, oh my God, this is going to get so many likes. Yeah. And you fail to think of the person that you're actually filming. So as another example, Bernie.
I think I know what you're going to say. I was just thinking about this.
So last week we talked about sports day.
Oh my God, yes.
At our kids' school. And so we go and they do all these silly races, and as part of it, there's like a mom's race and a dad's race.
And we talked about how it was kind of socially awkward and like mingling around, trying to, do I want to do this or not?
Yeah,
so,
maybe humbling. I don't know, should I? Now I get it. So there was this thing that's gone around of a lady who went to her kid's sports day.
It gets worse.
And she participates in the mom's race.
It gets worse.
She's wearing this lovely, fashionable spring dress.
Oh, it gets worse.
Running across the field. And then she trips.
it gets worse.
And this lovely spring dress goes right up over her head and exposes her very lovely fashionable underwear and behind
God.
to the world.
And it's like a faceplant with like just the dress over her head.
It's like I saw the still shot and it
I
hurt
sent
to look
Ashley
at.
the still frame of it, and I thought, I bet there's video of this. I should go try to find it. And I sent it to Ashley. We probably won't link this in the link dump.
I'm not going to. It makes me too uncomfortable.
Ashley
but
wouldn't watch the video.
I watched the video right up until she started to trip, and I knew based on the still shot what I was going to see, and I had to turn it off. It felt invasive to watch, if that makes sense. Like I felt wrong watching it. I couldn't.
Yeah. So this kind of all leads into what I was thinking about for the other thing, and I'll wrap this all up. So the other big meme that's going around right now is like this woman who tripped and fell. Right. That was a guy that uploaded that. Like, guy decided, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. That must have been the motivation for uploading it.
And it had to be like
and she
like
must
a parent,
know that guy,
a parent or a teacher or another
I say
student.
Guy. Yeah, whoever did it.
Somebody saw this lady trip and thought that's amazing and put it online.
Right. And she probably knows who did it, like, because it was on their account, like on Facebook or
Right.
something. Anyway, like, what's that conversation like? Like, why did you do this to me? Like, why did you post this horrible thing? But it is, I was looking at this other thing. The other thing that's big online right now is people are taking old memes. Like the one I saw was Charlie bit my finger.
Right.
And
okay.
it's exactly what you expect up until, oh, he bit my finger. And then all of a sudden it goes into a totally different scene where the kids get up, they see something, and they start running away from the camera. And this guy in black comes through, and he's the time traveler. And I thought it was this really cool send up of a time traveler going back to stop old memes. Because for a lot of people now, memes are like this snapshot of history. You know exactly what's going to happen next. You know this like the back of your hand. And people are using AI to then change it and have a different scene all of a sudden.
Oh, weird. Okay.
And it's a time traveler going to interrupt the timeline and ruin all the memes. But it's a trend online. Like, people are making lots of these videos, and they're all kind of weird and creepy. I don't know, something about it's kind of compelling to me. But the interesting thing about it to me is I have read through the comments trying to find this particular comment, and I can't find it anywhere. No one is complaining about the fact that they're using AI to like alter these pieces of art.
Right.
No one is complaining about the use of AI.
Right. Because the big conversation about that has been like, how could you use AI that's unethical, what you're doing? This is not like, you're using like AI in a bad way.
Right, exactly. You're just using AI to create art and like subverting someone else or using their assets.
You're stealing art, basically.
And it just got me thinking, it's like there's so many things in this world that if a person does it, it's bad. But if people do it, it's totally acceptable and fine.
Right.
And I think that's what's going to happen with AI. I don't think it's going to be like these big tech guys pushing it. They're going to put these tools out and people are just going to use them. And it's going to be the anonymous,
It's going to be
roiling mass of the
sea
internet.
of faces.
Yeah, and then you don't have to deal with, it's just someone, it's out there and you go look at it. Like, we looked up this video of the woman falling over, and it's like, we don't know the guy who posted it, you know what I mean? And it's like, to us, it's just like, oh, that's so embarrassing for her, as opposed to it was really shitty of the person who uploaded it. I mean, it's basically taking like the humiliating, humbling moment and then putting it in a uranium centrifuge and enriching it, to be weaponized, you know what I mean? And there's a really clear example of this too was, I don't know why, Ashton Kutcher. He was on a panel recently at some festival where he was touting AI being used in movie making. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, did this guy wake up and say, it's been 5 days since I had horrible PR out there about me? Let me go ahead and get on a panel and just start talking about using AI and how we can't ignore it and all this. What's he thinking?
Maybe he was bored of the bad PR he was getting. He wants new bad PR. Like, just something a little different.
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea.
Mix it up.
If they're talking about the AI thing that he's pushing, then they're not talking about the other thing that they were previously talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Get some new bad PR. All
right, take
it's
it back.
basically good PR.
That was a good strategy, I guess.
You know what else is getting really good PR at the moment is Inside Out 2. So we talked about this last week. We were surprised then. I remain surprised. It had another $100 million weekend. So it opened, this is domestically, by the way, in North America. It opened with $155 million. This weekend it did another $100 million.
I don't get it.
Absolutely
man.
insane.
I would love to make a rationale as to why this is happening. I just don't understand it at all. At all.
Even Pixar doesn't seem to understand it. It blew their own expectations out of the water on opening weekend.
So what was the problem then with the box office? It doesn't seem to be anything underlying. Was it just a bunch of bad movies that nobody wanted to see?
Well, I'm not even going to say bad movies. I'm going to say that the movie makers, the taste of movie makers is perhaps a bit disconnected from the taste of movie watchers at the moment. Like, for example, The Fall Guy. I think it's a great movie.
Yeah.
It is ultimately a movie about making movies. Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood, right? They think everyone's going to love movies about Hollywood.
True.
But,
Happens a lot.
Even though it's got Ryan Gosling, who I love, it's got Emily Blunt, who I love. It's about a stuntman, so it's going to have choice stunts. Absolutely delivers in that regard, by the way. But
Is that why you decided to see the movie? For those reasons right there?
yeah.
Okay. Because you're like the only person I've ever heard talk about that. Honestly.
I talk about it fairly frequently, considering. But yes, I think that maybe there was a disconnect there. People just like weren't interested in a movie about ultimately making movies. And I think with the whole Furiosa thing, a lot of us have rose-tinted glasses about how Fury Road did at the box office.
Yeah.
Because we like that movie so much, and because it did have a really strong performance sort of after the fact.
Yeah.
But I think it actually wasn't all that strong initially in the box
But
office.
that's the kind of thing that leads to a blockbuster, gangbuster sequel, right? Like, just on that note, do you know what Disney movie I never hear anyone talk about? Inside Out 1. Yeah. I've never heard anyone. It's like, what's your favorite? Is it Pixar? What's your favorite Pixar movie, Disney movie? Oh, it's definitely Inside Out.
Definitely, for sure.
I have heard no one talk about this movie. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Frozen, where Frozen had like this zeitgeist where
Absolute
anyone.
banger of an anthem.
You talking about Let It Go?
Yeah.
By Adina Menzel?
Adina Menzel.
Adina Menzel?
Yeah. No, but that, and that's an interesting thing too, is like we were talking about all these people going viral and how Disney would love to be able to recreate the Let It Go moment. They couldn't even do it with Frozen 2.
No.
Which, by the way, I thought was a great movie. But can you even name the big song in Frozen 2?
Take on The World Is Mine or something like that?
No, it was. Oh man, now I'm blanking on it.
Hey, while you're looking that up, can you look up something else?
Into the Unknown. Yes.
Into the Unknown, that's it. Can you look up and see how did Frozen 2 do at the box office versus how Inside Out 2 has done? And I'll
Okay.
talk about something while you're looking that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you got it?
Yes, I do. So, looking at this, and this is just Box Office Mojo. So it's difficult to tell exactly because Frozen's opening, as recorded in Box Office Mojo, was a bit weird. But domestically, in its run, it did $400 million in theaters. That's Frozen 1. Frozen 2 did $477 million. So it actually did bigger. But I think this is going to put the whole conversation into perspective for us. Frozen 2 opened in 4,440 theaters domestically and did $130 million in its opening
130.
weekend. $130
And
million.
Inside Out 2
And
did
Inside-
155.
Yeah. Absolutely insane, right? No one's predicting this.
See, that's just it. Like, how does this incredible phenomenon Frozen lead to less of a box open? I don't get it. I have to admit, I really at this one, I don't get it.
Maybe people are
Something
just
weird's going on.
People are really excited to see envy and anxiety and ennui.
And I don't think that's inflation. I don't. Like, have movie prices gone up significantly since Frozen 2 came out?
I mean, it's been since 2019, so there's definitely been some movement in ticket pricing, yes. But I don't think that is enough to account for the full difference necessarily.
It's just even if it was adjusted for inflation at the same level as Frozen 2, it makes no sense to me at all. Inside Out 2 is going to be one of those things I'll be thinking about for a long time. Let me ask you this really quickly in closing thoughts here. Are you more interested in seeing Inside Out 2 now that there's all this positive rhetoric about its box office?
I absolutely am.
See,
At
I
this
am
point,
too.
Like, I'm starting to get a little bit of that FOMO. Like, clearly, all the word of mouth, people coming out of it are saying it's a great movie. It's very relatable. It was very well executed. A lot of things that you could also say about the first one, even though that didn't really, for me, stick in the sort of subconscious. So yes, I feel like I need to go see what this movie is.
And plus, it stars Amy Poehler, so you can just sit there and give her a stink eye the entire time you're watching it.
Look, they say that
And she can't stink eye you back.
the best revenge is a life well lived, and girls revenging on me hard.
Yeah, I think she's overcome your stink eye at the fish restaurant all those years ago. I think she's overcome it.
So embarrassing. So embarrassing. All right, well, on that note, I would like to thank today's sponsors, Buggy52 and Robert Dawson. Thank you both for sponsoring this episode of Morning Somewhere at patreon.com/morningsomewhere.
Thanks, Buggy and Robert. All right, well, that does it for us today, June 24th, 2024. We will be back to talk to you tomorrow. We hope you'll be here as well.
Bye, everybody.